Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground is brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
My name is Mary Overlie, and I've worked with a team of people, of amazing musicians in Bemidji, to put together a show called Mudsong, which is a swamp tale told in the blues. You know, the story of Mudsong is very close to The Wizard of Oz. I call it the story of the motherless child, which is a really ancient tale that just keeps getting retold in several different iterations and various generations.
What this heart does see in times of brokenness, restless hopelessness, is them flakes falling free. I'm buoyed by the strength of soft snow.
But I would say the inspiration for writing Mudsong, I never really know. As an artist, I tend to work a lot with improv, and I never really know what stories are coming down the pipe. My background's actually in theater, it's not in music, and so I'm really used to taking an idea and following it. And I got about 6 songs done, and I couldn't figure out how they fit together. I was really used to having a theme, but it wasn't clear to me at all what I had in front of me. I had about 6 songs, and I was like, what is going on here? I have a song about a muskrat, and a song about stories, and a song about healing through music. And it dawned on me that I was telling The Wizard of Oz, but I was telling it in the North Woods, and actually started writing the music before I moved to Bemidji, which also kind of blew my mind, like, why am I writing about the North Woods before I even lived there? And it occurred to me after I started working at an area school that as much as anyone can know why things happen, I think one of the reasons this story wanted to be told here and now with these characters, with otters and muskrats and loons and wolves, is there's a lot of motherless children up here in the North Woods. Sometimes in some communities it's an epidemic kind of feeling. I work in a school where in 1 year alone, out of a class of 20, 4 of them lost their mothers due to overdose or illness or whatever circumstance. And so there's this real heaviness that a lot of youth carry, I think, in the region about what do you do with that kind of grief. And it's an enormous burden to carry, but it's also very survivable. And I think that's one of the things that's kind of hidden in the culture right now, is how do you work through that stuff? And so I think that's one of the reasons The Wizard of Oz is told. It's one of the reasons The Secret Life of Bees is told. It's one of the reasons that Because of Winn-Dixie was an award-winning book. There's a lot of wisdom about how do you do it, but it has a really hard time, I think, getting down to the level of the people who need that kind of healing to move through. So I think that's how Mudsong came into being.
That's Aaron Tank.
It was neat to interact with the audience after the show. There was one man who really enjoyed the show, and he told me that he and his wife had gotten on their motorcycles from Grand Forks and came to Bemidji and just happened to stop by the Cabin Coffee House and came in and enjoyed the show, and it was really neat to get his reactions and his excitement from the show.
Yeah, just kind of a spontaneous drop-in kind of thing. Yeah. There was another guy who was just so jazzed because his family had just moved down here from out of town. It was their first weekend in Bemidji, and he was like so excited to be able to be like, look, we live in Bemidji now, this really cool stuff happens. Like, we get to go to like a blues show on a Friday night or a Saturday night. So that was just kind of wild, which I think is true about Bemidji for a city its size. It's got a phenomenal base of opportunity, kind of really rich, diverse opportunities for stuff to do. So.
If you enjoyed this segment of Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground, consider making a contribution at lptv.org. If you have segment ideas pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund by the vote of the people on November 4th, 2008.